Welcome to Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. My name is Mompoloki Lerumo Mogobe. Our objective is to enthuse, inspire, energize, and empower entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs of all stripes here in BW and beyond. We do so by inviting these entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs into our makeshift studio. Sometimes we call them to the restaurant, sometimes we go to our studio, and we ask them to share their experiential knowledge, their experiences and their expertise, and we ask them as many questions as we can, aimed at empowering you also as a viewer. Hello dear viewer and listener, my name is Mompoloki Lerumo Mogobe. Let me welcome you again to Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast, where we give you life-changing, empowering and cutting-edge business information. I'm going to talk about all things water this particular episode, and I have a guest just for that in terms of the water business, the marketing aspect of it, the branding aspect of it, and the CEO of Laguna Water, Mr. Mpho Bonnyongo, is my guest. I welcome you to the studio, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mogobe. Such a great opportunity. I am more than honored to be here. I'm excited, as always. You know me very well. Yes,
tell the viewers a bit about yourself. Share a little bit about your vocation and what you do.
Yes. My name is, as you alluded, Mpho Bonnyongo. I was born and bred in a mining town, Orapa. And I grew up in an environment where it was all things mining, you know. And growing up in a mining town, I only got out of that area when I was ready for, high school and university, of course. And I grew up there were no purified water businesses at that time. And if you allow me to just fast forward a bit and stuff, but to talk about the water. So I've always said, you know what, it would be good one day to purify water for mines and stuff like that, because that's what I noticed, that Metsi ako kodi mining aletswai. So I moved from Orapa, like I said, when I went to high school and then university. I studied business management, business administration, and also tourism. I had a passion for tourism as well. You know, I went on to pursue other licensing qualifications as far as the running a tourism business is concerned. I did run I started a tourism business, and it was just shaken a bit by the COVID situation when it came. You know, no travels, no air ticketing being done in the office and stuff like that, and we never shut down, but at the same time, that's when I got to say, you know what, I need something that will be moving every day, and given a pandemic or no pandemic, something that will actually be demanded in volumes. And that's when I went down and jotted down the idea of Laguna Water. And if I could just briefly say why Laguna Water, if you allow me.
I'll come to that, but
yes,
before
okay.
we talk about the vision and, you know, the inspiration behind it, a little bit about the previous business. What exactly were you doing in the tourism industry?
Yeah, well, my primary service in the tourism industry was air ticketing. And my main clientele was the corporates, the parastatals, and also offering team building or creating team building packages that would include transport, that would include booking of accommodation and activities at the selected tourism area. So we primarily offered that service, And like I spoke about the COVID-19 situation, they were all affected.
What's the name of the company?
It's Premier Travel.
Premier Travel.
Yes.
Did you close it down?
I never closed it down, but when I started Laguna Water, I said I will have people run it for me while I focus on this one, and I'll just make sure that I maintain and take the driving steering wheel for them in terms of when they need advice and so forth. So it's still running at the moment, but it's something that now it's at least sustaining itself. But like I said, I got to experience a very heartbreaking moment when COVID happened. Everything was grounded. I got into a bit of a depression because my love for tourism was out of this world. So when nothing was moving, and I said, but that's exactly my bread and butter, I had to think of something really, really, really quick. And I've always told myself, well, you know what, it will get back to. Luckily now, it's actually back. And we're doing some moves, yes. We're making some moves. It's not bad.
And where are you principally based?
We're principally based in the CBD, in the I Towers.
Oh, I see.
Yes, sir.
That's where the tourism...
That's strictly for the tourism business, yes.
Yes. Okay, let's talk about Laguna. What is the meaning of Laguna, and how? What was the inspiration behind it?
Thank you so much for the question. Laguna is a beach in California, by the way. Laguna Beach attracts a lot of the who's and who's, because it's a beach that is said to be known to be attracting high-profile businesses, high-profile restaurants around it, and so forth. And the water is said to be very, very clean, and the beach is always neat. So when you associate your business or place it around the Laguna beach, that's where you know for sure you will cash in from high-paying customers. So now I got inspired by the story, and I sat down and said, but this name it's obviously a name for something to do with water, but I can use it or incorporate it in my water product, because if you allow me to explain why or the primary service or product.
No, please, offer. By all means.
Yes. Laguna Water, one would say we often hear about the brand Laguna Water, but we never see it in retails. That's not Laguna Water. Laguna Water, I nicknamed it the next business card. It supports the branding of other businesses. It pushes mileage for other businesses by doing what? By just customizing the water with their logo. If it's an organization that is trying to push a campaign, we design the campaign theme and whatever, or on the sticker, and they always order in bulk than the retail. So it was something that I sat down and thought about it and weighed where exactly will more profits come from. In retail, I'm sorry to say this, you'd wait for maybe 30 to 60, actually 60 days for sales of maybe up to 10 cases. But with corporate, they will tell you, we need about 400 cases of water. And maybe say, for example, I always said, my target when I start the first year, at least to have at least 10 corporates under Laguna Water, Laguna customized water. The 10 corporates, I know for sure that at least once a month, once or twice in 2 months, they will order at least 400 cases. Now, if you calculate 400 cases and look at your profit, that's quite sustainable for the business. And Laguna Water actually bought its own resources, machinery and equipment and so forth. With the profits it made in the first year. And those came in just before it got funded by the Youth Development Fund. So yeah.
All right, that's a part that maybe I want you to revisit. Your interaction with the Youth Development Fund. Why did you approach them?
My approach with the Youth Development Fund, all thanks to an organization that helps the youth in so many entrepreneurial development ways, Tokafala.
I know about them.
Yes. They mentored me, they nurtured me, and they ushered me into being a young entrepreneur who can actually develop his own business plan, a full business plan. And that's the business plan I actually submitted at the Youth Development Fund for Laguna Water. I'm not saying they helped me write the business. They taught me how to write a business plan. Then I went back home to develop my own business plan. And they actually paved or enlightened me that you know what, you're an entrepreneur no matter what. Because they'll give you options. Do you want to go into being an employee? Well, we have a few options, and we can polish you into being an employee for so and so and so. Do you want to be an entrepreneur? I said, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm here to be developed. You know, why did I choose Tokafala first before the Youth Development Fund? I had tried the Youth Development for Premier Travel, and I was rejected. That's like 2 years back. And I found out that I sat down early last year and said, maybe I need to be developed here and there. Maybe I need to associate myself with organizations and structures that actually give a support, that are actually a support system to young entrepreneurs. That's why I ended up in the hands of Tokafala. That's why. And then after I completed my business plan, I submitted on time and stuff. In no time, the Youth Development Fund under the MySec called me for interview. I went in for the interview and said, I'm here to just help you understand my idea. That's what I told the interviewers. Guys, I'm here to help you understand my idea. If you didn't believe on it on paper, at least you gave me that opportunity to come sit down with you. And I told them, I'm here to engage you on my journey of getting funded. They said, how come you're confident that you were going to be funded? I told them, because I come polished, you know, I come polished.
And they still talking about Tokafala, they have a program called Stride. Tell us about Stride and how you became part of it. What does it mean?
Well, Stride is basically they have first the 3 to 4 months classes that you attend, trying to polish you, trying to help you understand that within your idea, this is what you can basically make money out of within that idea. And once you complete that, once you go through the competitions, the business plan competitions that they offer, and once you get to that level where you even maybe win the competitions and stuff, you pitch your idea, you know, more like the Angels Network that
I belong to.
Yes. You pitch your idea. I enjoyed all of that, and I think Tokafala also saw my passion in this, and then they enrolled me into the Stride program. That on its own, it's a different ballgame. It teaches you how. It reminds you that you need to submit your financials at every month. They need to be there. It teaches you and it reminds you time and again that now we're not playing games. You said you want entrepreneurship. This is what we need from you. You need to. You even produce a lean business canvas. You know, that you sit down with them and then they look at it. Stride is all about helping.
I'm going to interrupt you there to ask you, what do you mean a lean business canvas?
Oh.
What does that mean?
Yes. Well, it's more of a chart that explains your direction when it comes to your idea. It talks about when it comes to an idea, but mostly it's for people who have already gained traction. And that thing on its own will help you identify what exactly you need to do when a customer says this. It helps you identify what kind of customers you have. It helps you identify or familiarize yourself with your distribution channels and so forth. So it's just a small manual of your everyday running of the business.
So it is more like a guideline where you tick the boxes as you go through certain things.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And all right. Now, the water purification business.
Yeah.
What does it entail, and what are the challenges involved?
Well, first I would like to applaud the government for what it did by just stopping these
Water imports.
It was helpful a lot. With me, before I get into something, I research about it first. So I even went as far as Statistics Botswana to check what exactly was imported and what exactly was selling and really consumed rather, as far as mineral water, still water is concerned. So water, it has challenges, yes. It has so many challenges, and some businesses you can't run them when you are not fully in them. So starting a water business demands your presence every day. It's not a business that needs an office, it's a business that needs a warehouse. If it's not a warehouse, if you're doing it from home, you have to make sure that the water you take to the consumer is 100% crisp. So water, I had to study the stages of the reverse osmosis. You know, those are, if I can briefly explain that, these are...
Yeah, even the reverse osmosis,
Yes.
you have to explain that.
Yes. It's basically a process of purifying water, in a nutshell. And, you know, these stages are different. There's a stage where we filter sand. There's a stage where we try to clear off the odor, because we just take raw water from the tap, the municipal water, and we clear it. It depends on state. Some purifying companies purify at up to 5. I chose to purify
5 what?
5 stages. Sorry, and I chose to purify up to 7 stages, and it involves a couple of filters. Some filters repeat. I have to repeat.
Take us through those 7 stages.
Yeah, like I was saying, clearing out the odor, that's a stage on its own. The sand, water has sand. The saltiness, that's the taste.
Even tap water has sand.
Exactly, you know what I mean. We try to make it look as clear as possible.
Okay, sand number 4.
Yes, and then other stages, we just, because we need a clean and crisp tasting sip for the consumer, we repeat other stages. Now on its own, we count it up to 7, and it helps us when it comes to our target market, which are the corporates, the parastatals, because when we go pitch or present for our product, we take the samples with. I bring you the samples. I would like you to taste my water as I present to you and stuff like that. Because I can't present or bring a product, you taste it, and the taste goes south. But what I'm talking about is actually something that is catching your interest.
What would you say are the significant challenges in the water purification business?
Yeah. Distribution. Well, that's number 1.
Distribution.
Yeah. And that's why I said I would like to be direct. I work direct with my client. I don't want a middleman to actually help me with distribution. you sometimes get an order. We're based in Gaborone, of course, but you sometimes get an order as far as Francistown or Letlhakane, especially Letlhakane because it's a mining area, and they are in that mining town or village. There are several water purification businesses, but they choose you, or they request a quotation from you here, and the price you quote, it's going to be a price that because you'd quote looking at your transport, getting the water there basically, and when they receive the quote and they actually assess it, they'll call you. The first thing they will say, but so and so here sells water for 3.50 per bottle. Why are you giving me a 5.50 rate? And when you explain that, but I have to charge delivery fee, and they will tell you, why don't you courier the water, and so forth and so forth. So it goes back to what I said when I started. I said, I'm going to target my own market, so that and my target market in business, I believe, when you identify yourself and identify your niche and identify your market, if it's the right market, they will always find you appealing, and they will somehow believe in what you are offering, if they are indeed relevant to the story or the idea you're selling them. They always believe, no matter the distance and stuff like that. Now when it comes to negotiating,
because the quality of the product speaks for itself.
Definitely. Because I went as far as experiencing, transportation. Before we got panel vans and stuff like that, we were actually transporting from the boots of our cars. So imagine maybe you have 400 cases order. You have to make how many trips?
Yeah, typical start level for every entrepreneur. You start on the boot.
Yeah. So delivery is always a challenge when it comes to the water business, because the water is ordered in cases, 24 bottles per case, and transportation. If you don't have reliable transportation, or if you don't work hard to actually secure your own transport, then I don't think you will survive the business. That's one main challenge about the business. But I haven't been finding many challenges. I can't mention any names of who have, in terms of competition, who have seen as their product branding for so and so. And I approached so and so as that entity and said, well, I can give you at so and so rate, but at the same time, I researched what the big guys are, where they are, losing the big clients.
Let me ask you a little bit more in terms of challenges about your business model, where you say Laguna is not in the forefront. Whoever is at the forefront is your corporate entity. To what extent is it a challenge for you to keep your name prominent, to keep it in the front and center, in the eye of the consumer?
Yeah. With Laguna is more of it's a water product, yes, but it's something that supports other businesses, as I alluded earlier on. So I'm not really worried about it becoming well known. I'm more concerned about it getting orders through, because with Laguna, it's marketing often.
For instance, the bottles will not have Laguna on them.
Yeah, only the sticker. I wish I brought one bottle.
Yeah.
Only the sticker at the corner. We just because the council forces us to do that. I would write the email address, bottle produced and purified and bottled by Laguna Water.
So it might be Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom, but at the bottom, Laguna there, small.
Just a little bit. So there's this thing I thought about while I was in just the process of developing the idea. You know, sometimes because the catch is where the taste is. So when you drink, or say for example from the restaurant Black, you ordered water and you take a sip. When you take that sip, it's a different sip. It's a different taste rather. And 90% of the time you're going to turn that bottle and try to find out where it was produced. That's where I hit the market. Now, you would find, okay, oh, Laguna Water, oh, I don't know about them and stuff like that. So that's the trick. And you want to find out more about Laguna Water from that point. Unfortunately, you won't find it in retails yet. But once we hit the retails, imagine the banks that have that host the conferences, the government, they order Laguna Water for those events and so forth in bulk. And those people come from all walks of life. And the time we hit retail, almost every working class who consumes water at conferences and whatever will know when they see it on the shelves, they're going to ignore whatever they've been seeing and go for Laguna Water.
That's what you predict.
Yes, yes, that's my prediction. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, in terms of the uptake in the market, how has the response been compared to your competitors?
It's been quite a journey. Laguna has now, I think, about 1.5 years of operation and production. And it started, like I said, very small. But now, when somebody, wherever they are, posts, I get that a lot, like those kind of calls where somebody would tell you, you know what, I saw this event organizer posting and thanking you for sponsoring his event with Laguna Water and branding his event with his brand. I asked that person where he got that kind of service and product. He said Laguna Water and gave me your contacts. So we get a lot of that. And that's, to me, it's positive response, because somebody would say, but I actually need it for our church. I actually need it in bulk for I'm actually responsible. I'm from so-and-so parastatal. I'm actually responsible for purchasing. So, but this would help me quite a lot because I've been trying the big guys. The big guys would tell me, no, our turnaround time is strictly 8 to 10 days. If you order water from Laguna Water today, we'll tell you, give us 24 hours. We'll deliver.
Wow.
Yeah.
24 hours turnaround time.
Yeah.
Now, is there a minimum amount in terms of bulk ordering that somebody has to meet?
Currently, we just say a minimum of 5 cases because we sell in cases.
A case is made up of how many?
Of 24 bottles. So I'll tell you a minimum of 5 cases. That on its own caters for, you know, how we played around with the delivery fee figure and stuff like that. So it helps with efficient delivery and so forth. And we're still at that. But we know for sure as time moves on, as we expand, we'll be able to do more. Maybe when we really don't want to set up ourselves to saying we are in so and so mall, that's where you can get us. So we opened on a shop on this. No, we don't want that. Well, we were all about people getting Laguna Water so that they push whatever message they are trying to push with the organizations and so forth.
Is there any prospect of diversification into other areas beyond water? Maybe flavored water, maybe other beverages?
Exactly. We recently registered Laguna Beverages, yes. And the dream is to end up having even alkaline water, soda water, because we're now trying to tap into the hospitality industry. And hospitality industry, there are clients, the tourists or hotel users, restaurant users, they tend to request a lot of sparkling water, soda water. So we're in the process of finishing up our training and production. Our machinery for that hasn't arrived yet, but because it uses different filters as compared to still water. And I think by the grace of God, this year we'll be in a position, before the end of the year, we'll be in a position to start offering those kind, because we like I said, we tried to research first about it. We trained for it first before we just got ourselves into it. So we know for sure. So the hospitality industry has been saying, we can order your water, but we can order more if you offer sparkling soda water and so forth.
Yeah, so, let's talk a little bit about barriers of entry. How easy is it to break through? In other words, is this a very capital-intensive business where it's difficult for, competition to come in, or for people like you to come in general?
Yeah, it is at times. That's so it was all about that, the determination. It's not even easy to get licensed for water production. Oh my goodness, you go through stages from pillar to post. Once you think
even getting Bob's approval, I'm sure
it's a process, and they have to come to the establishment. They have to check the establishment's ventilation. They don't really care about the size of the machine, but what they care about is what you guys are going to give the public. You know what I mean? So
from a health standpoint,
yeah, they even test your knowledge about the recall process of water or of a consumable. So those things, when you apply for that, you even have to go. That's council, that's BOPs. You even have to go through labs that test the water. You even have to go through the Ministry of Health and the Department of Food and Nutrition and so forth. So they test that. So they can be a barrier on that, or they can be a challenge, and one can even end up being just giving up and saying, they really don't want a young person to get this license. I don't believe that, because I got the license.
And you persevered.
I persevered. And there's things like for example, the competitors might have, that capital power. When it comes to maybe tendering, maybe say, for example, you're tendering for a particular mine, maybe Depswana or Lukara, and one might be discouraged just looking at the page that has the list of bidders. One might be discouraged, but like I said, it depends on how you package yourself. It depends on what the product tastes like at the end of the day.
Is there an EIA component to this environmental impact assessment in terms of machinery? Is there a requirement to comply with that?
Not entirely. There is, but it's not as hectic as maybe, for example, when it comes to when you want to convert a house into a guest house and stuff like that. How hectic are the requirements? But there is, like I said, they check. How well ventilated the place is, and they even check how dusty the area, the environment is. They don't want such an area. And outside the building, it strictly has to be paved. You know what I mean? So they check things like that. I would say yes. They kind of do. The EIA, Environment Assessment Department, yes.
It is clear that you've gained a lot of traction as Laguna Water. What would you say are your significant achievements?
Wow. Having to, because at the end of the day, I always try to feed my entrepreneurial journey with the right tools. I tend to compare it to my previous business, and I would say I grew up a lot in terms of one, being supported and recognized as a young entrepreneur, going through so much programs like Standard Chartered Future Makers program, being part of the Forbes under 30, although I'm not under 30, you know what I'm being just called to say by the Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture to say we're going to take you make you part of this and so forth, without being really strictly screened, because just they know your journey. They've been following your journey.
I know it started when you're well under 30.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And do they then ask you to inspire other entrepreneurs? Or how does it work?
They do. There's a point, and they treat us individually after the summit, of course. Like they handle us individually. As I even mentioned, the Standard Chartered Future Makers, they even there's one that is upcoming currently that they were going to be. They kind of launch you as a young entrepreneur, and they call in the current. Be it prospects, be it young people who are training, the entrepreneurship development training short course by the NGO. They call them, you speak to them, you come with everything that you've experienced, and that on its own inspires me as well as an entrepreneur.
Let me ask you a tough question. Where exactly is the Zaga? Where is the Zaga in water? Where are the dollar signs? Where are the bills? I mean, the pull-up bills, so to speak. The cash. Where is the cash?
You remind me of the questions I always get when, especially after the Forbes thing. There's this thing that people have in their mind, because this thing, we were giving a lot of money during the Forbes summit and stuff like that. When we told you, give me more, give me your Forbes,
It's crazy.
But it can never be enough. And luckily, I come from a background of much emphasis when it comes to discipline. I remember my uncle taught me how to take care of the terrace, so that the pullers takes care of themselves. You know what I mean? And I grew up to know that every terrace counts in a nutshell. So I can't point out and say, I have enough and stuff like that, because with me, getting a much higher figure means I'm able to reinvest and get more and more resourceful and stuff like that, because that's what I believe in. For one to really make it as maybe one day a 10x entrepreneur is understanding those fundamentals, that whatever amount you make, you need to know that there's salaries, there's expenses of the business, there's your just your small take for the meantime and stuff like that. So
and of course the unexpected.
Unexpected,
that can come and hammer you anytime.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So yeah.
One thing that I teach my entrepreneurial mentees is the importance of frugality, the importance of discipline and tightening your belt. Have you thought about that, and has frugality played a part in your success so far?
A lot, you taught them. I've been following you, so I could see it from the media and whatever you preach and so forth. It has taught me a lot. I spoke about, I think in other words, in different ways, I spoke about the power of association. That adds on to what you just mentioned as well. You know what I mean? A discipline too. I think I was not like this maybe 6 years back. I was still all over the place. I was still finding myself, and still I still believed that, but I saw this happening. You know what I mean? I saw this coming, and I knew that I can't just really easily get it. I need to polish myself. So it's been years and years of, honestly, COVID gave me a huge wake up call. You know, I polished myself intellectually. I challenged myself. You know, when you challenge yourself to say, because I'm an entrepreneur, I'm going to study business continuity management for the next 3 months, so that should 1, 2, 3 happen, I know how to handle 1, 2, 3. So now that's me. That's the current Mpho. And those things on their own, they come with a lot of discipline. They come with an immense mindset of saying, sorry, gents, I can't do this with you now. I have to be somewhere in class.
You can't go and spend time at the bar with them.
Yes, exactly. You know, I can't do this because I really have something to do that's quite important to me and stuff like that. But to add on to that, I give you one more thing. I don't believe in the idea. It depends on what you want, you know what I mean?
And the quality of friends.
The quality of friends as well, you know what I mean? The decisions are entirely upon me. It's entirely upon me to say, I can't check on the boys for...
So what side courses have you been upgrading yourself with?
Can
you share a little bit of that?
It's been exciting. I'm excited. I started with business managed continuity. This is beginning of this year, and with the BAC, Botswana Accountancy College. So I went on and did business analysis. I went on and did, you know, I'm currently targeting to do project management, and another one, I keep on forgetting it because I'm still to research about it first. But all that I'm doing is just to polish myself.
Which other one is that you forgot?
I think...
you forget it for now.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So, because but of course, Tokafala also had a major part.
They still are. Yeah, they still are. I remember I walked into their offices when it was induction time, to just be assessed if I can be enrolled in. They start you with a short course as well. So entrepreneurship development training, and I think I did well in that. Well, I did well in that for me to still be, or for me to be enrolled in Stride. I remember at one point some guy said, you know, Tokafala, I think you over-advertise yourselves. He said that in class. That was the last time I saw that guy.
What?
During the induction. Nobody chased him away, but he was just proud. And
yeah, what's wrong with over-advertising? What does that mean?
He just meant that he didn't think we were going to be started from scratch as far as entrepreneurship development training is concerned. He said, and they tried to explain.
Implying that he's way ahead of them.
He said that. He said he did some course with the FNB that is being offered in Mompoloki for entrepreneurs and so forth. I chipped in and said, let's come into this with an open mind. Remember, you came here for your idea to be polished. I came in with just an idea into the Tokafala buildings. I was assisted into developing it to a now brand that if I give you so-and-so organization, which is a big organization, and say, go be a ghost or a mystery shopper there, they'll give you water. You are going to see the water branded so-and-so organization, but when you turn it, it's Laguna Water. So I was assisted by Tokafala for such things, you know. Yes.
Now, and to young entrepreneurs, some of them who are clueless, sometimes blaming the government for everything, sometimes blaming economy, sometimes blaming the weather for things, just blaming and blaming. What advice would you give them for them to change that sort of mindset? Yeah,
I'll tell them straight that should they continue with that mindset, they're going to be saying the same thing 10 years later. Because it's every time I network with somebody from outside the country, when I tell them that the government actually gives us living allowance when we are in tertiary schools, they're always shocked.
Along with tuition and everything.
They pay for tuition, book allowance you get, if I can tell you about the Youth Development Fund, how it works. If you are given 100,000 to fund your business, this is an interest-free loan, number one. Number two, you only pay half of that money. Half is just grant.
A grant.
It's just a grant. And all you have to do, just spend at least less than 800 pula registering your company, and after that, work on your business plan. If you can't develop the business plan, seek help. There are people who study such things. They will assist. And you can...
does the YDF make them available to experts? Or do they refer you to the likes of Leah?
They do. They really refer you to Leah. And when you get to Leah, you say your story. They will help you do that. They will help you come up with a business plan. They will help you do the business plan. You will go for consultations. They will offer some courses.
I'm asking you, how we snap out of this blame mindset, pointing fingers at everybody except yourself? Because I'm just tired of the discussions I've had where it's government, it's politics, it's economy, it's everything, but never the entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So what would you say to help shift that kind of thinking?
I'd like to actually see myself one day having a program where I bring in young people to come and intern with me. Those kind of people with such mindset. Because at the end of the day, it all boils to that individual. And if they feel they can carry on with that mentality. I think the government has done enough. We just spoke about Leah. There's nothing absolutely that you pay for at Leah besides the courses they would open maybe sometimes to the public. Those courses currently are at 150 pula per course. Imagine when you're trained to do a business plan for 2 weeks, you just pay 150 pula. And you have an option of doing that from the comfort of your home online, or you go to their facilities. 150 people is something that you can ask from a loved one, and they will
gladly give it to you, especially if it's for your education.
They will gladly furnish you with that, because it goes to what, if you really showing determination to change your situation and all, you will get the support you need. Okay. But if you're not determined, if you are interested in, or you behave like the world owes you something, you are going to live like that for the next 10 years
or longer. All right, now you have a crystal ball, say an imaginary one in your hands, and you're looking to the future. We're looking at brand Mpho Bonnyongo. We're looking at brand Laguna Water. We're also looking at your tourism business. I want you to paint a picture of how the future looks like 10, 15 years from now.
Wow. When it comes to those things, I'm very bold about it. Like I just said during the interview that this kind of setup, this interview and stuff like that, this is something in 2010 that I said one day I'll do it. You know what I mean? And I still look forward to more the next 10 years. I see myself as a 10x entrepreneur. Well, maybe it might not be in 10 years, but
maybe it will be 100x.
You know what I mean?
It might be 100x.
And I want to be counted as you are counted when it comes to mentorship. You know what I mean? I see myself having developed just more than Laguna, a few 4 or 5 businesses, and at the same time pushing mentorship, business and or entrepreneurial mentorship young people out there, to my peers out there, and so forth. Yes.
Okay, so in terms of regionally and continentally and even internationally, what's the future for Laguna Water?
Well, that's so amazing. Like I told you, alkaline water. I'm busy trying to study how and where it can really be consumed, and I see it as an export. By the way, I recently attended thanks to BITC. I was invited and attended the Botswana Mozambique Summit. Entrepreneur, is it entrepreneur? No, it's not entrepreneur, but business export summit, and that's where I learned that exports through BITC, of course, it's something that we need to be looking at in future. So yes, I would like to see more and more of Laguna products being exported to Southern Africa, and by the grace of God, maybe across Africa. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now is the time for you to ask me a question, if you have one, sir.
Yes, I do. Mr. Mogobe, I see you in terms of running all these businesses. And one thing I like, you're always there. Like you are involved in the day-to-day running of the business. But how do you manage that? You having even, I don't know, properties in the Northwest and stuff like that and so forth, you obviously need to be traveling there at times. But how do you manage and so forth?
Yeah, I've answered this question before in very simplistic terms to say, look, I'm privileged where I manage managers, where I have a team which is responsible for different duties. For instance, I have an operations manager here in Maung. I do have very good chartered accountants, one helping me here, one helping me in Maung. I do have some of the best. For instance, I would argue that the guy who's running Black is one of the best managers on the planet, because I've tried others and he's doing a tremendous job. So I see my job as developing talent and trying to infuse some of my skills and my energy into some of this talent that I'm developing, and then to try and be part of the growth that is taking place. Of course, it's a work in progress in the sense that there are people who are way light years ahead of me. So there's a lot of constant catch up that you try to do. So it's about really trying to manage managers and try to have a relationship with people within your organization who you can work with. There is no such thing as a self-built person or a self-built entrepreneur. You are built by other people, and of course having the kind of religious faith that I have as an active Seventh-day Adventist Christian, I find that faith, the kind of faith that we've learned from the teachings of Ellen G. White and others, the kind of faith that you find in the book of Romans and Hebrews, especially Hebrews 11, that kind of faith does inspire you, because you do get a lot of negativity happening in any organization. Sometimes it feels like, I'll give you an example. Last week, we were on the verge of closing our sanitation business because things were going so terrible. But because of staying the course, praying over it, and having that faith, we have seen a light. We have seen a way of even expanding that business. So it's a roller coaster ride that we are riding non-stop, and getting used to that, and trying to stay the course. And we always try to stay the course. That has worked for us. So I hope I've answered your question.
Very well, yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Your camera is that one.
Okay.
If you can just look at it, I want you to leave the viewer with something uplifting, something inspirational as we conclude our discussion.
Okay. Well, to the listeners, the viewers rather out there, and to every young person especially who's trying so hard to tap into a certain market, you know, be it getting a dream job that you studied for and stuff like that, be it being an entrepreneur, I would say keep on polishing yourself. What do I mean by that? It's quite simple. I spoke about the short courses that I'm doing now. I'm speaking about those. Polish your profile so that it lands on people that would actually not think twice when it comes to picking you and so forth. It's all about living your dream before you reach the dream. You know what I mean? It's all about how you discipline yourself, how you prepare yourself for the dream. And faith, as Mr. Mogobe spoke just now. You know what I mean? So that's all it takes. And incorporate all that with what you have, then something good will come out of it, definitely.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bonnyongo. But tell them exactly where they can reach you and all of your businesses, even in social media.
Oh, great. Okay. With Laguna Water, the number is 75646-308. That's also my personal number. My life is just around business, so I do not mind at all having a personal number for business. 75646-308. Email bonnyongo.operations lagunawater@outlook.com. We are based in Gaborone. For our travel business, it's I Towers, of course, and then for our water business, it's Commerce Park. And just give us a shout anytime should you require anything. The number is also on WhatsApp. Let's talk more there. Let's engage. If you have something that you feel it can work in line with what we do, if you're a young person who wants to engage with us, be inspired, we're always here. We're always open to assisting and to everybody who seeks such services or such products that we offer. We can actually tailor make them to your exact needs. Thank you very much.
You said social media, you are where?
Oh, social media is Laguna Water Botswana. That's Facebook for now. And then we'll announce from Facebook soon other following platforms. Yes.
You have been a fantastic guest, sir.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful guest.
Thank you so much. Yes, sir.